Live, yeah.
Hey, welcome to Bluejay Banter. Bluejay Banter podcast here on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit like and share so we can grow our enterprise and cover even more Creighton product for you than we do now. We want to thank our great sponsors, Equitable Bank, We Take Banking Personally, West Pacific Dental Group with Dr. Robert Hogan, and our new sponsor, Infusion Brewery. You can check out our sponsors down at the bottom scroll. Also, if you want to join us at any point this evening, you can send us an email at bjbinstantreaction@gmail.com. Instant Reaction is our post-game show. So bjbinstantreaction@gmail.com. Send Zach an email. He will shoot you the link and you can join us and give us your comments if you have any. Probably a really dark weekend in Creighton sports history, but there was one huge shining light, and that was the men's soccer team going to the College Cup. I don't know. I mean, kind of. I don't want to say totally, but a little bit out of nowhere, I would say.
Yeah, didn't they finish sixth in the Big East?
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was pretty bunched up. I mean,
Yeah.
when you have so many now, the soccer, there's so many ties now. So, they were, their current record is 13-4-6. They were 3-3-4 in conference. So, gosh, three of those go the other way. Then there's 6-4. It's.
I don't think they were expected to.
Oh gosh, no.
To get this far.
No, gosh, no. Interesting. I want to ask Johnny. We're gonna have by the way, we're gonna have Johnny Torres on here, head coach of Creighton Soccer, on in just a few minutes. But I thought, I would ask him about, the fact that they were leading goal scorer in the country. Obviously to advance against these top ranked teams. I mean, they knocked off number one. They knocked off a team that, had given up 8 goals all year. Obviously, you would think, oh well, the defense is tightened up, but Zach and I were talking off air. Gosh, they're only getting up 1.35 goals a game. So it's not like they're, getting scored on a lot. They gave up 4 goals to Providence, and then 2 other games they gave up 3 goals. Other than that, it was 2 or 1 or none. So it wasn't like they, gave up a ton of goals and they just had to outscore everybody. So Zach made a good point, though. I mean, they did put 3 up on Duke,
who had only had 8 all season. Who had only allowed 8 goals all season.
So that's almost half of their entire goals allowed.
That's impressive. Yeah. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Another thing is this is the second time a Creighton sports team has had the leading scorer in the country as a walk-on.
As a walk-on, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Duncan McGuire, because his mother, I believe, works at Creighton.
Yep, she's on the staff. Yep.
Yeah. So, Duncan McGuire, 48
seems to be a viable recruiting strategy.
Yeah, 22 goals, 48 points total. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like to go off of hockey. That's like Wayne Gretzky numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and how many games, too? That's what...
23 games.
Yeah, so averaging two points a game. Yeah.
Soccer,
crazy.
I mean, everybody's watching the World Cup now. I mean, if you watch the World Cup, I mean, that's just astonishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with you.
But this is so great.
As a soccer novice, I agree.
This is so great for Creighton and for the program, because Zach will back me up on this. So we had over on bluejaybanter.com, and by the way, if you're not a member, I don't know if you're watching this and you're not a member of bluejaybanter.com, I don't know what to tell you. You need to get to be a member. So much information. There's so much information on recruiting. We have game previews of all the basketball games, and then the cool thing this year, the game previews of basketball games, we've been able to talk to our rival counterparts, a bunch of these teams, which is great. I would love to have followed back up with the Nebraska guy after yesterday, because he was pretty much writing this one off as a big L. But the other thing, we have a great message board over there, and on the message board, like about, I don't know, week before conference tournament started,
the Big
something
East
like
tournament.
that.
Yep.
Somebody on there goes, well, we need to get rid of Johnny. This has gone on too long. CU alum, she was one of our members. She posted, hey, let's at least wait for the conference tournament, see what happens, So now, of course, everybody's piling on the guy like, hey, what happened with the firing Johnny? Things
Murphy's
are working
Law.
out just fine.
That's how it works.
So that's, reactionary fans. But anyway, so Friday night, 5 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, it's early.
Take on Syracuse. Yeah. So, this is just it's so cool when things like this happen, kind of quote unquote out of the blue,
Yeah.
And it's just a heartwarming, awesome story because I don't know, I have not met anybody associated with Creighton that doesn't just love Johnny Torres. I mean,
he's the nicest guy.
Yeah,
he is the nicest guy.
He just is. I'll just tell a brief personal story. This summer, I was stopped in at Shoreline Golf Course, just getting our golf tournament set up, and I'm running around town doing all this stuff. And one afternoon, and busy, and running to my car out of Shoreline, running to my car, and I hear this, hey, Tim. This car whips all the way around. And it was Johnny. Just wanted to say hi. How's it going? He's just that kind of guy. I mean, he's just
a good dude.
So we have Syracuse, Creighton, Pittsburgh. Who's the fourth team? Who am I missing?
I just had it up. Indiana.
Wow, Indiana's a soccer power.
They are good.
Yeah. So Indiana Pitt, that'll be a good game too. So I'm really excited for Friday. And as I said, we're going to have Johnny Torres on here in just a couple minutes. 5 o'clock. And then the championship game is then on Monday night, correct? And I believe that is a 6 p.m. start.
Yes, it is on Monday, and it's also 5 p.m. start.
Oh, 5 p.m. also on Monday.
Yep.
All right. So that's 3 o'clock Vegas time.
Yes, yeah. You can keep that in mind.
Yes.
Yeah, Tim. When are you headed to Vegas? What's the scoop?
I'm headed to Vegas Saturday morning. My wife just goes, "Would you like me to give you a ride?" And I go, "Well, that's kind of a loaded question. Would you really want to get up?" She goes, "What time is your flight?" I go, 5:35. She goes, "Oh boy."
5. Whoa, you better get some shut eye on the plane.
When I did it, I wasn't sure exactly the timing of the game. So I wanted to get there fairly early in case it was an afternoon game. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so.
Let's see this right here.
All right, I think we're getting Johnny here pulled up here in a second.
As I say, we've got a guest.
Yes, we do.
You guys see me?
We can see you, Johnny.
We can.
You alarmed us because we had to look at Glenn for a second there, and that was,
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. We can see you great. What a lovely backdrop you have there.
Yeah, we're at the Shadow Ridge Country Club at our Christmas party for Creighton Athletics.
Oh, nice. Well, thanks for taking time out doing this. We really appreciate it.
For sure.
Johnny, first, gosh, we were just talking. Congratulations. This is just this is the most awesome thing ever.
Thank you very much. No, we're really excited and just very happy for our guys too. It's been a special year. It's been a little bit of an awkward year in that we started out blazing, and then kind of tapered off a little bit and did a little maturing along the way, I think, and got a little hot towards the latter part of the season. And luckily for us, we've gone through a bit of a streak through the postseason play.
Yeah, like a novice soccer fan, like I am, and many others are. I mean, one would just, if you're just surmising what happened here, score so many goals, then one would think, oh well, they must have just tightened up their defense. But if you look at your defense throughout the season, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good. The goal contribution has come from all sides, which is hard to even contemplate because we have the national leading scorer on our team, but we've had 18 other guys score goals as well. So we're sharing the ball. I think we're on 63 goals. We only scored 27 last year.
Wow.
We lead the nation in goals right now, and so
Well, we were just saying that you scored almost half of the total goals Duke gave up all season.
Can you guys hear me? You're breaking up.
No, you're fine. We can hear you. I think you're having a little reception. There you are. You're fine. You're good. We hear you.
I can barely hear you guys. I'm going to text Glenn.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
I think he's struggling.
Can you still hear me?
There's some bandwidth problems there. It came across as bandwidth. Can you hear us now, Johnny?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, we were just saying you basically scored half of Duke's goals for the season in one game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It was breaking up when you left, so you got to leave it.
Yeah.
We're using the data off Glenn's phone here.
Hey, but really in the NCAA tournament so far, what's been the big key for you?
I think resiliency. I think believe. I think that believe in one another, because in more than half of our NCAA matches, we've been playing from behind. We've been playing a goal behind. And that at times, when you're in a playoff situation, can lead to trouble if you're playing from behind, because you might have some guys that might panic. You might have some people that might deviate from the game plan. And we've not done that. We've stuck to our guns. We've played as a unit. We've helped each other out, and we've been victorious in all those matches. So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
What makes Duncan so good?
Duncan, I think first and foremost, is he's ultra energetic. He just doesn't stop. He's got one gear, and that's fifth gear. Now, when you pair that with athleticism, when you pair that with 200 pounds of muscle, and when you're actually pretty good around the box and can bag some goals, it's a dangerous formula. But above all, he's a great teammate. He's a selfless worker, and he's a catalyst for our press.
So Johnny, how has can you give us a little bit of a preview of Syracuse? How has their season been? How has their program typically been? And what are kind of some of their strengths?
Yeah, no, Syracuse is obviously a very good program in their own right. They play in one of the best conferences in the country, in the ACC. They're a very dangerous group going forward. They like to attack at will, very much like us. They like to take risks and push their lines up high up the field. They're very dynamic out on the wings and up top. And so I look for a really entertaining match on Friday for both the players and for the fans.
2 ACC teams made it to the College Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Duke was the last one that was in the tournament that played against us last weekend.
Yeah. And then we notice when you see the name Indiana, it's synonymous with college soccer, right?
Of course. Another storied program. They have a couple of national championships under their belt. So definitely a very good college cup. But hey, I'm just delighted to be there and have the opportunity to compete against these guys. And obviously, at this point, you're gonna get the best of the best, right? If it's the College Cup, and so looking forward to going out there and competing.
How do you think the players will react? Will they be, wow, this is all gravy now. We made it here. Let's just go out and let it all go. Or will it be a little tense because, hey, we're only 2 wins away from a championship?
Yeah, no, obviously the mindset that we've tried to instill in our guys the entire postseason is one match at a time. And they know our message has been, don't play the event, play the match. We know College Cup is a big event, but we're not going to look at it that way. We're going to take it one match at a time.
Yeah. What's your schedule going to be this week?
We'll train tomorrow. We'll fly out there on Wednesday. We'll train there Wednesday evening, train Thursday, compete Friday.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah, we'll take we'll take some finals. We'll take some finals while we're on the road. It's finals week.
Yeah.
So we have our academic proctor traveling with us, and
Okay.
we'll take some finals. We'll take some finals before Friday's match.
All right. Well, I know the whole city will be watching. It's just going to be an exciting event, and couldn't be prouder of you, Johnny. The only disappointment was I thought you were going to say when I said where are you, you were going to say I'm in my living room.
Yeah, I wish. Hey, I got 4 kids. There's no way I could keep my house this neat.
We hear you there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, good
All
luck,
right,
Coach.
Johnny. Well, safe.
We're pulling for you. We're really pumped for you guys, and good luck.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, great, Johnny. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you. Take care,
All
guys.
right. You bet. Johnny Torres, head soccer coach at Creighton University. Just one of the best guys you'll ever meet.
I think Johnny was an assistant for the previous Final Four teams, was he not?
Yeah, because Elmer was here. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was the first one was my senior year, and then because I have a kind of a funny specific memory. We played at St. Joseph's when I was a senior, and it was a Saturday game. We were undefeated, and this would have been Doug's sophomore year. And we had practice the night before at St. Joseph's, and we all kind of gathered around, I think, Rob Anderson's laptop and watched the end of the Final Four game, whoever they played. And then the next day we played St. Joseph's at noon, and it was rocking in there, and they beat us and they stormed the court.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Remember that. And then Doug. Yeah.
Yep.
2 years. 2 years after that. Yeah.
Yep. The senior year, yeah.
Yeah, because we played a 4-year home and home with St. Joe's. Yeah. I know because I went broke buying Lenardi dinner 2 years. He only wanted to go to the nicest places and then ordered the most expensive thing. So,
So hopefully the Jays hoops team is in Vegas and can gather rounds on not a laptop and watch on TV and translate to a win this time.
Yeah, similar kind of deal. Well, at least it'll be on ESPNU this time, so a more watchable network. Yeah. Well, as I said, a shining beacon in what was otherwise an incredibly dark weekend in Creighton athletics. The women volleyball team goes out in the first game. Yes, had an injury. They still went down to number 1 versus 4 in their pod and lost in the first match. The women's basketball team lost their first game, 66-62 to St. John's. And then the men just absolutely laid an egg yesterday. Did you get to see any of the game, Ross?
I did. I watched about the first 30 minutes of the game. I think I went to the airport at the under 12 timeout, and I kind of watched a little bit on my phone in the Uber, kind of hit or miss. But yeah, I knew at some point we'd kind of lay out this. Every team does this, as you know. Every team lays a clunker at some point, or a couple of them a year. It's just kind of disappointing that it was, the home game against your in-state rival, who you're favored by 15 against. So, yeah, disappointing. disappointing. How was the? I've heard from multiple sources that the atmosphere and the crowd were not very good, Tim.
Well, yeah, I've had people on Twitter. There was a guy on Twitter who's supposedly a season ticket holder wasn't there and said, "You people ought to be ashamed of yourselves." Look, it's not like people weren't yelling and screaming and trying to get the team going, but when you're going, come on, and then they go down and turn it over, and then Nebraska, mucks it up for 35 seconds before they take a shot. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to get into a game. And even Max said that after the game. He goes, "We didn't give the crowd anything to get excited about."
Yeah.
Were there some moments like at the end they could have maybe done the cheers video, but apparently this new regime doesn't do that. They played some stupid song, and that made a lot of people irate.
Was it "Don't Stop Believing"? I think.
No, it was Final Countdown.
Oh, Final Countdown. I knew it was one of the '80s classic. Yeah, everyone was like,
not a very
that's
inspiring
your choice.
fire up song.
Yeah. Have we talked about that since before the season? The whole in-game experience thing.
No, and we're still gonna have Jason or Hannah on, but no, we haven't. They're starting to morph it some though. Like the first thing they did was they kind of like shoved the Budweiser video to halftime.
Yeah. Yeah.
That only lasted one game, and then they had it pregame after that because I heard a bunch of fans complain about it. Thought that was I think it's kind of cool. I don't know.
Well, it's just a staple.
It's an odd thing to complain about, but
yeah.
No, I know, but people, okay, it's old people like me, Ross, that complain about that. All right. Secondly, I think their goal, and I was sitting by Jason in Maui for at least one game, I think, maybe two. But anyway, I was sitting with Jason, and so we discussed it a little bit. We didn't talk a lot, but we discussed a little bit. And like he said, yeah, he goes, a big challenge of ours is try and get the fans in the seats before the game starts. And I said, yes, my Vikings, for instance, have the Skull chant. And I went to games way back when, and people are wandering in at the 10-minute mark of the first quarter and da-da-da-da. Well, ever since the Skull chant started to get everybody's in their seats. Now, one thing they do there that I think Creighton could do up in the suite, into the club level, is what they do there is they go 60 minutes to kick off, 45 minutes to kick off, 30 minutes to make an announcement every 15 minutes to go, okay, guys got to get in our seat. Game starts in 10 minutes or whatever,
Yeah.
But I know that's one thing they want to do. I think they've done a nice job with the tunnel, the team coming out of the tunnel. I like the fire. I like the pump up, and they're making a big deal about the team hitting the court. I like that part. So I like that part.
I'm curious I don't even know what you can really do about that. Like that is so baked into the Creighton game experience. Like people just show up late. They kind of mosey to their seats unless it's a massive game. Unless it's Seton Hall for the conference title or Gonzaga #1 or Villanova or like that's just kind of how it's always been. Maybe you're right on like the kind of the Skull chant parallel, something like that. Maybe would do wonders. I don't know, but it's always been like that.
Last night, I'll say yesterday, I didn't see many empty seats at Tip, so that was good.
Was there a decent amount of Red or Husker fans?
Smallest amount of Red I've ever seen.
Really? Wow.
Really noticeable. Really. You know how you see them dotted around the crowd, but usually there's like a section in the end, No, none of that.
Huh.
Now, unless they were sitting back up behind me, but I'm telling
you, the one game for them
as the Creighton fans were just basically, that was the other thing. The fans were all in shock. Like everybody in my section was just sitting there in shock at what was happening.
Yeah.
And so the whole crowd was like that. And of course they weren't saying much. And then you heard a few "Go Big Red" chants, but
that Nebraska team's an interesting team, kind of like what Max said. I mean, I do give Hoiberg a lot of credit, not just for this game. He's completely, if you go look at their numbers, he has completely changed the way that they play from how he typically played the last 3 years. Like something needed to change, and he has changed with his personnel. They have a couple of nice players. I don't know that they have enough outside shooting to really. But they're not, Tim. They were picked to finish 13th or 14th in the Big Ten. They're not going to finish that
Right.
low.
Right. Back to the game experience. So one other thing I'll say. So the two other comments is consistently the starting lineup. You know how we had the Yay song, and that really got the crowd going. They
Yeah.
haven't replaced that with anything, and that it just seems kind of flat when the player introductions go.
There's
that
not a
seems flat.
song? I haven't even
There
noticed.
is, but it just doesn't get anybody fired up. It just doesn't do anything. It's like playing White Christmas. You know, it's just not.
And you don't know what the song is?
No, don't know what it is. It doesn't have a beat. It doesn't, a clapping beat or anything. It doesn't. Yeah.
I haven't been to a home game since I guess
Okay.
What was the second one? Since North Dakota.
Okay.
So I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they changed the introduction a little bit this game when it came, how they did that siren thing, kind of like the NBA teams kind of do.
Yeah.
This game, they went to a video. Like it flew over the campus and downtown and old videos of Corver and Mac and, so that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of neat. That was back to the old days. They used to do something like that. But they did that. The other thing, what I don't, and I've heard this from many people, like they're trying to make it too much like an NBA game. If you go to an NBA game, you know how the ball goes out of bounds and they play little goofy little music, or what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not a college. Like college is different.
Have they done that?
Yes, they did it a bunch yesterday.
Really?
They played the Pac-Man thing when they made a free throw. It's kind of corny. It just didn't. It just seems like they're trying to make it too NBA-ish. Where an NBA crowd typically isn't like for a regular season game doesn't get everybody pretty much sits there and just watches the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not people on the court screaming and yelling and stuff. You know what I mean? So that would be my biggest complaint. I think probably they're trying to make it too much like.
Interesting. And the next home game is not till I think the 22nd against Butler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
you missed Red Panda, Russ.
What's that?
You missed Red Panda.
Oh, Red Panda. How was it?
Red Panda messed up. Her big finale when she does the 4. She hit 3 of the 4, but on her 4th one, she missed it.
I've seen Red Panda multiple times now. I feel like she's messed up every time, which I'm not expecting her to be perfect. That's a really difficult,
it's incredible
endeavor.
what she does.
So what were your thoughts and impressions on I guess the game, and then who'd you have on as a coach afterwards?
We had Jalen on.
Okay.
He was good. I noticed both Mac and he when we tried to say, well, it's human nature when you hear everybody all week long going, oh, you're going to crush Nebraska,
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, oh, well, we weren't that way. I got to believe they were that way. They just, everybody commented, they just looked lethargic out there. Like, it wasn't. And in a little bit, Ross, I broke down just one sequence of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Zach's going to play it here in a little bit, where, we talked all about, well, they're hitting threes. We talked with Jalen, too, about, well, maybe we need to drive the hoop more. And he goes, yeah, but he goes, that's not really who we are. And we were getting great looks, and they were, for the most part, getting great looks. Okay. But as you'll see in a little bit here, I broke down just one trip down the floor where we really made they weren't big errors, they're little tiny errors, but they make a difference,
Yeah.
A pass to a got wide open guy where the guy had to jump a little bit. Okay. Well, now his feet aren't set. So by the time his feet get set, the guy is closed out on. Little tiny things, maybe moving from this block to enable yourself to be open, just little things. And I think they kind of to me, what it looked like is they missed some threes to begin with. Okay. And then everybody started pressing like, okay, I'm going to make the 3 to get us going.
Right.
And then they just all started jacking him and nobody could.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting, I thought Nebraska was really good defensively. I mean, they trapped ball screens and they trapped call hard too. They made it really difficult for them. And they just kind of packed the paint and made it, outside of obviously the opening lob, they made it really hard for, Ryan to just come off ball screens or Baylor to come off ball screens and just play 2-on-1, which is what our team's really good at and what we want to do. I thought they made it really difficult for us to do that. So then the ball's whipping around the perimeter, and we have good 3-point shooters. We don't have Mitch Ballack or Doug or Ethan Rogge. Baylor's probably the closest to any of those guys, or Marcus Zagorowski. So it's guys are in a little bit of a slump right now. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think you're right. The other thing, and you'll see it in my video I did too. They ran a little bit of that Iowa State, Texas Tech, Texas principle where they trap in the corner, and the play I'm going to show you, Mason got kind of lulled into that, where if he'd have stopped one dribble sooner, he had multiple passes diagonally and across court, and plus could have wrapped around a pass to Kalk, who had a 6-footer on him. I mean, everybody was just trying to do too much, in my opinion. I don't know. That's kind of what I took from it.
Yeah, it was nice to see. It was nice. I was going to say it was nice to at least see. We'd been talking about the bench the last couple of games. It was nice to see Farabello finally kind of settle in and exude. Make some shots and get some confidence, because that's huge going forward.
Let's give credit where credit is due. Zach called that last game.
I did. You missed the last couple shows, but after the Texas post game, I was like, I feel like Sunday against Nebraska, Farabello's gonna, and I think on the board I said he's gonna hit at least 4 threes, and he hit 5. So
that's ambitious. 4 plus threes for Farabello. That would have been pretty good odds in Vegas.
Hey,
yeah. So, I don't know. I have some sad news to report. Kirstie Alley passed away.
Huh?
Wow, that's really interesting.
Cheers
that's
fame.
Too bad.
Cheers fame. 71 years old, died of cancer.
She was 71. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, Cheers was Cheers in the early 80s.
Late 80s, I think.
So you're talking
late 80s.
35 years ago, So, anyway,
what did I didn't catch what were some of Hoiberg's post game comments?
I did see him on Fox. He just said, we really tried to limit that lob, and we didn't. It happened on the first play of the game, and he goes, "Well, one more play," and then he goes, "Then we kind of settled in, and we did a really good job." And he basically said, they had to play nearly a perfect game, and he felt they did play nearly a perfect game. He felt like they could take it at Kalk with who's the guy?
With Walker.
Derek Walker.
Yeah. Felt like he could take it at Kalk with Walker, because he said, well, in practice and in games since he's been back, he's really good when he gets into somebody's chest. He's not so good when he's away from the guy and tries to make a play going toward him. So I did notice when I watched the replay of the game, Nick a couple times said, "I'm sorry, Kalk, you gotta block that. Like, you gotta put an effort on Walker and one on Greasel." Like, he felt that Kalkbrenner didn't really even attempt to go at a shot block there, where he felt with Kalkbrenner's presence he could probably do that. And if he did that, then all of a sudden you're not probably going to go in there so easily the next time, right?
That's an interesting, kind of counter strategy a little bit that I don't know that a whole lot of coaches would have employed. I don't think a whole lot of coaches would say, you know what, we're actually going to go at Kalkbrenner. I don't know who else would really do that. It works. I think that
what he said was,
worked for him.
Yeah, what Hoiberg said was, you don't want to shoot 5-footers or try and shoot over him, because that's not going to work. You got to be right into him when you try to score. So
sure, I think Kalk will. I think Kalk was sick at the beginning of the year. I think he's been dealing with some injury stuff. Once he gets back into kind of peak shape that he was in Big East play last year, we'll see a much healthier, much more aggressive Ryan. I mean, when he's playing at that level, he's one of the best bigs in the country. And certainly one of the best defensive bigs in the country. So it's they're going to get him back at some point here. I would expect it hopefully soon, pretty soon.
Yeah, he looks a little bit slow to me right now.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe thinking a little too much out there.
I will say this.
That was it.
Sorry, Tim. Having had 24 hours to kind of sit and think about it, I got thinking last night. I was like, well, they played with some really good teams and have beat some really good teams already. They looked awful yesterday. There's no doubting that. But then I started thinking about Doug's senior year and when they played Baylor, who had dropped to the 6th line. And it really doesn't matter, Of course, this is me, telling myself things to make myself feel better. But you get to the tournament, and then it's just you play whoever's in front of you. And so far, outside of this game, they've been able to play with every team that's in front of them, and those have been some really good teams. This was a bad loss. There's no, denying that or talking your way around that. But, even at the 7 line, they've already played against, I guess Arizona lost, but they've played against teams that are going to be on the 2 line, and they've hung with them. And Arkansas, who knows where they'll end up, but they beat them. So got to keep your heads up. There's plenty more basketball to be played. And,
it's 9 games into the season. They're not,
yeah.
I'd be stunned if the team ended up a 7 seed at the end of the year.
Yeah. I'm more so just speaking, this is a
Right.
team that can play with anybody regardless of, they're going to have their stinkers like they did yesterday, but there's still reason to, have hope for this season. A lot of people are kind of, hopping off the train or, all doom, but there's still reasons to feel good going forward.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple things. First of all, Zach, since you want to feel good about yourself, you're good looking, you're smart, and damn it, people like you. Okay, there you go. Secondly,
what is that from?
Since that's Stuart Smalley, Al Franken
Okay, yes, thank you. God,
used to be on Saturday Night Live.
I know I'm young.
And he was a
but
senator.
I get
for a while.
yeah, until, some things happen.
Kind of an odd like occupational change to me, but
A little
anyway.
bit, yeah. I mean, I can think of a weirder one, but
And eventually that got him in trouble. But
yeah.
Since you brought it up, I want to throw some rose petals on us here, okay? Number one, the net came out today, the first net. It's early, I understand, but we're 33rd, which it's okay, okay? If you look at our nitty-gritty report right now, we have a quad 1 win and a quad 2 win. All our losses are in 1 and 2. Excellent. We're number 2, positive. Nebraska comes in at 59. So that's not a bad, that wasn't even a bad loss. Okay. Number 3, now Warren Nolan can't replicate Net's strength of schedule for whatever reason. So he uses the RPI strength of schedule, which used some of the factors that Net had anyway. Creighton's number 8 strength of schedule. That's huge.
Now tell Ross what the Ken Palm strength of schedule is.
59, is it?
Yeah, that's insane.
Creighton's?
I don't know what. Although KenPom has them at 20. Net's 33. KenPom has them at 22. So 57 it is. But so those are positive things. And another positive to just get juiced up now, a week from tonight, Arizona's 35. So that's a quad 1 win if we beat Arizona. Okay. So we got still more non-conference things to play for here.
Arizona State, you mean?
Yeah.
Or did I say Arizona? I meant Arizona State. Yeah. Arizona State's at 35. So, hey, that's awesome, right? I mean, you're all kind of like, oh, that screwed up our whole non-conference thing. No, it's still out there ahead of us.
We're fine. Everything's gonna be fine. It's UConn is gonna be a serious challenger for the Big East title. I would even maybe throw Xavier in there, although UConn seems to be very much a leg above them. I'll be honest. I think Marquette's been pretty impressive as well. I know, they lost. They've got a few losses now, but I've been impressed with them. I mean, those at least to me appear to be the 4. Us and those 3 appear to be kind of the top of the Big East.
Marquette will be a quad 1 game when we play them at Marquette. They're 37th in the net. Xavier's 48.
That's 2 weeks from now.
Yep, Xavier's 48, so that will also be a quad 1 game. So, that's big that we've got some teams in our conference that are getting it done. Okay, so let's roll that. I think it's about a 3 or 4 minute breakdown here. Usually, just to let you folks know some behind the scenes stuff. When we throw the highlights and stuff, they're kind of broken up. We can't see it very well. They come across great over on YouTube, but hopefully Ross and I'll be able to see this well enough. But it has some audio, so we'll just sit back and listen and take it away, Zach.
We'll do As soon as I can find it on here for the screen share, I think this should work, hopefully. You guys see that?
There we go.
All right.
Well, as we all know, the Jays had a tough time shooting the ball yesterday. But I want to show you one set here in the first half. This game was stuck on 21-20 for a long time. And if the Jays just could have put together 2-3 baskets, they could have stretched that lead out to 5-6. And I think that would have totally changed the game. They played good defense on the other end during this stretch, but they didn't execute on the offensive end. And I'm going to show you a couple things here that happened during this one trip down the floor. First of all, Nembhard gives the ball over to Mason Miller in the corner. You can see Mason's wide open, but the pass is a little bit high. And so he has to jump right here. And because he has to jump, he's not ready to shoot. Had the pass been on the money and his feet were set right there, he could have let that fly because Griesel's quite a ways back. So he has to come down. Now he doesn't. It's too late. He can't get the shot off. So he's going to try and make something happen. Unfortunately, he dribbles into the corner here, and this is very similar to what we had with the Iowa State, Texas Tech, Texas games, where they play this kind of defense. They want you to go in there, and they're clogging the paint, and they want you to get this corner trap. Now, if Mason had stopped right there, he's probably okay. He can still get it out here over here to Nembhard. He can throw a pass over the top over here to Farabello, who's wide open. But he took it a little too far, and even at this point, a little wraparound pass over here to Kalk. He's got a 6-footer on him. So any kind of a pass at all, Kalk could get down, go up, slam it, easy 2 points. So now Mason does the right thing, gets it back out to Schreierman around the horn, and here we go around the horn, back over to Farabello, now to Mason to the other side. But you see, Kalk has this guy pinned. The entry pass probably should have went in there at that time. If this guy comes over and doubles, then Schreierman's wide open with a set 3. Or he could take it to the hole at that point, probably too. But instead, we go back out to the top. And now you're going to see a back pick set. So we kind of probably could have gone to Mason on that one. He was kind of open. But now Kalk sets a pick, rolls down. And now we talked earlier about Kalkbrenner not getting the ball when he's set. This is a time when Kalk needs to make himself a little more available, because he gets down into this area right in here. Schreimer can just, with a second he gets the ball, lob it into the post. Kalk can turn around and lay it in because he's got Griesel on him at that point. Now he took it into the corner, got the double team, no dice. So right there on one trip down the floor, we had 3 or 4 opportunities for good shots. And these are all teachable moments, and I'm sure the coaches that are going over the film and going over tons of these with him. And this team will be better for it.
Roscoe, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's my first initial thought on a play like that is, and I know you're probably not going to like this, but I give Nebraska credit for scrambling like they did defensively. I mean,
Oh, they did, yeah.
They made it.
Yeah.
They made it difficult. But yeah, I think there was some decent points there where I think Kalk could have maybe tried to get in there and seal right away. But our guards got to do a better job of getting it to him too.
Yeah. Just as right there with Mason, though. I mean, that was a simple. He's got a 6-footer on him. I mean, you get the ball anywhere, because Kalk kind of had him sealed too. I mean, just a simple bounce pass. He gets it and dunks it. I mean, it's easy too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, these guys have got a few days here of practice before they go to Vegas. I mean, I know, knowing Mac and the staff, like I know them, they're gonna get a lot of this stuff corrected. I do, this is, kind of the ultimate optimist view of things. I know it can be kind of obnoxious, this take. I do think this will end up being good for them in the long run.
Oh, definitely. They're not going to take anybody for granted now.
No, it stinks right now. It stings for everybody. Everybody's a little shell shocked, but I think in the long run, this is going to prove to be a very valuable lesson that they learned at home after they spent months and months of getting crowned Big East champs already before the season was even played. So it's we'll see
and
what happens.
I kind of just drew up that play because it's just little tiny things. Like, you hear in the NFL a lot of times, well, yeah, I completed that pass, but had I thrown it a foot out in front of him, he could have kept running. Like that was okay, but I didn't. I should have had it out. Same way there with that pass with Nimhart. I mean, if he passes right to the chest, I'm sure
Yep.
Mason's jacking out.
Yeah, he hits him in the pocket rather than putting him in a
and
spot
he likes
where
that
he can't
corner
catch
three.
and shoot.
So
Yep.
it's just little tiny things. That little bit of movement of caulk. Just little tiny things. It's not like huge, great, big problems. It's just, and that kind of tells me, and Ross, you disagree or disagree. A lot of times those little things like that, that's just focus, right? Like you're kind of like pressing a little bit. You're not thinking about fundamentals so much and focusing. You're just
Yeah,
you're a little bit panicked and rushed, I should say.
Yeah, the team plays fast.
Yeah.
Especially they did feel a little bit more of a sense of urgency, especially late yesterday. And yeah, there were some turnovers that are pretty uncharacteristic, but I guess when you play at the tempo that we play at, that is going to happen. I think through the first part of the season, I think we've done a pretty darn good job on the turnovers comparatively from last year. But we'll see. It's they've had a tough stretch here. They've had two kind of frustrating losses in a row where they on games where they thought they could probably win them. They could have won them, and then they come back home and in a get right spot and get kind of punched in the mouth a little bit. So we gotta go to Vegas with the 2-0 mindset. Nothing else matters.
And Tim, to your point,
and what's so frustrating?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Zach.
No,
I was saying what's so frustrating about watching that game again was that span I showed you right there. It was 21-20. It was stuck on 21-20 for like 3 minutes. We had multiple possessions. If we just put a few buckets together, we go up by 5-6. That's a totally different ballgame. And the other score was like 31-28. It was stuck on that forever. Like we just couldn't, if we just got a bucket in there somewhere, it was frustrating.
Yeah. And then as far
go
as,
ahead.
To your point about the Mason Miller back cut, I think that I don't see why he couldn't be a bit of a lob threat. He's 6'9", he has a 37-inch vertical. So I feel like, you get those set up a little bit where you have another guy who's a lob threat alongside Kalkbrenner. That opens things up for him.
Yeah.
But, this is all hindsight's 2020. You can watch film and say, well, we should have done this. That doesn't change what happened.
Well, I mean, but that's why they watch film, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Appreciate it. Next up for us, we're going to be having 2 post games on Saturday and Monday. So go right here to our YouTube channel. It'll be instant reaction. We want your thoughts and comments. I'll either be doing it from the arena or I'll scoot over to my hotel room real quick after the game, depending on how good the internet is, right? It's always that damn internet.
Where are you staying at?
I'm staying at the Luxor right next door.
Okay.
Got a super deal. I've never done it before. I did a package deal on Southwest with hotel and airfare.
Okay.
They give me like a $300 discount.
Wow. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah. So I couldn't pass it up. And I believe, I've been told this, that there's a walkway underground or whatever between Luxor and Mandalay because they're right next to each other. Or there's some sort of walkway that you can get over there. So that'll be real handy to get back and forth real quick.
Taking the hidden corridor over there.
Yeah, that's right. And then, obviously the first thing I'm going to do on Saturday about 1 o'clock when I get to my hotel is
Sportsbook.
All right. Where's the sports bar?
Yep.
Sports book. How accessible is it? How much seating is there for Sunday? Get all that scoped out. So we're ready to go. All right, Ross, did you have a good trip? How's Dougie?
Good. Everything is good. Trip was good. Texas was great. That arena is unbelievable. Yeah, all was well. It was a nice trip to South Texas during the holidays.
So Doug was at Austin too, huh?
Yeah, he came up. Yep, it's only an hour drive, so he was up there, and yeah, it was good to hang with a bunch of Creighton folks.
Wait. Hour drive?
From San Antonio
San
to Austin,
Antonio.
yeah.
Is about an hour. Yeah.
Wow. Seems like we took a lot longer than that when we went on that NCAA trip that year.
Yeah. No,
No, that seemed like it was like because we
I
got to
just did it. It
Austin.
was about an hour.
So I fell asleep. Funny quick story. So I fell asleep. I drove most of the way. I drove from Omaha to like North Texas. I'm like, all right, I can't. I got to go to sleep again because we drove overnight.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up and we're in stop and go traffic. I'm like, where the hell? We're not through Dallas yet. Well, we're in Austin, which is bad for traffic. And I'm looking out. I go, oh, look at that. Oh, there's a little football field there. It must be another little high school field up against that great big stone building. That's kind of interesting. And I look and I go, oh, that's not a stone building. That's Memorial Stadium.
I actually just made that drive. I drove to Dallas end of September, and honestly, it's only 9.5,
About
10 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not for me. That's not bad. I've driven to and from Portland, Oregon, quite a bit. So
We left at 6 here, I want to say. We got there at 10:30 probably
yeah,
in the morning.
yeah, checks out.
We didn't really stop too much. We went through the Wichita way. Supposedly
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fastest way, But anyway, interesting drive. All right. Anyway, next Friday, Saturday and Monday, we need a couple victories here. All right. Don't forget College Cup Friday night, 5:00. See if Johnny can do it again. All right. For Zach and Ross, I'm Tim. Thanks for listening.